we're bringing out the race bike again. We'd like to make it to some tomb races this year. So this is our built Tillotson 212 that we used to run on this thing, but we decided we want even more built. We were racing at like some, I don't know, half mile dirt tracks, and we just kind of wish we had a little bit more power. So this is our fully built stage 5 Predator 212 that we built for a turbo go-kart. So this thing actually had a turbo on it for some time. That didn't quite work out. So now we've just had this sick engine on the shelf waiting for something to do with it. But it's got an ARC side plate, dual bearing. It's got an ARC billet flywheel. It has a shaved head. It has Black Venom rockers, a Fire 265 cam. This thing is going to be a ripper. And we got some other Go Power Sports goodies because this thing used to be running on electronic fuel injection. So we got a flat side that they jetted for us. A couple other things. But before we can get this motor on, there's a little bit of metal work we have to do to this bike. So let's just get cranking.
Cool. Yeah, we have a lot of adjustments. We'll definitely be having the motor and wherever we want it.
So we got an HD clutch on here from Go Power Sports, as long as a little idler pulley. And then we're gonna throw on some RLV gold racing chain, per usual. Yeah, this should be pretty sweet. I think we're gonna get the pull cover on, and then we can bolt up like our header pipe and our flat slide, and then hear this thing run. All right, so we got our flat slide on. Barely clears the front end, like I'm talking like actually touches, but it's all right. So here it goes. All right, folks, so we have a little thumb throttle here. And as opposed to a typical twist grip, the problem is this thing wheelies so easily. And I guess, I mean, sure we can like finesse it with a twist grip, but we're kind of lazy and it's super easy to just kind of sit here and like, you know, through the thumb follow. So we're just gonna do that. It'll make our wheelies really controllable because this is such a small bike. It should be a lot of fun. All right, so the race bike's all set up. We have our turbo motor off to the side here, sitting all nice and pretty. But before we can put it in, we're actually debating whether to go with this high torque clutch or to throw on a juggernaut or something like that. We actually ended up deciding that we wanted to just go full send with the juggernaut. The first rendition of this bike did have a torque converter, but it was just way too happy on the wheelies. You just couldn't keep the front end down. But we want the extra torque, especially with the new Go Power Sports Juggernaut on there. So what we're going to do is we're gonna do a little stretch to the rear end here. I'm gonna cut out this end section and put it on the end just to give us another probably 5 inches of wheelbase. I think that's gonna help us a lot. That's what some tomb guys did. Another thing I'm gonna do is to have some extra clearance for this jug. And I didn't really like the gas tank down here, so we're gonna pull it off and put it on the rear end. We got that idea from the Little Rascal Go Power Sports kits. They look really nice. And I don't think it's gonna be too much back weight back here, you know, visually, because we're gonna have the tire back here now. So, you know, it won't look like too much stuff's hanging off the back because of our lengthened wheelbase. So now I'm just gonna get to doing all that stuff. So the front is all cleaned up, smoothed out. Now we're gonna move on to the whole rear section here. So first I'm gonna just pull this rear tire because all the metalwork's gonna go down back here. So let's just get the chopping and get all this old stuff out of here. All right, so the stretch is sick. I really like it. I decided to leave the spikes just to give it a little, looks a little choppery, you might say. But dang, it looks pretty sweet. Just that little bit of extension helped a lot.
So the final things we have to do for this mini bike is we have to fix the front forks and add our engine, torque converter, chain, all that stuff. So the problem we had with our front forks is that the bearings blew out in the bottom. So we got new bearings, and that'll make the steering a lot more solid and not all floppy and sketchy when we're driving it.
So the steering is way more solid now. There's not any of that play that we had before. As you can see, no rattles, it doesn't shift up and down. So it's gonna make it a lot more stable for us. Here's a look at these sweet black Venom rockers we have on here. And we decided to take the clear cover off and put on this billet one because it matches better with all the other billet parts we have on this engine. We took everything off of this frame to repaint it because since we did a lot of metal work and some frame modifications, there's a lot of bare metal. And so now that it looks really fresh, we're just gonna put everything on and get it finished up.
So something that's really cool, and it puts the motor on a little bit of a slant, which is like really aesthetically pleasing, is this Plate-Go Powersport cells. It just fits right on there. And then your bolt pattern is gonna fit up with your 212. And not only that, it's actually gonna be perfectly lined up for a torque converter. Sweet. Right, finally time for this beauty to go on. Hopefully our FMD muffler fits with the plate on there. I'm really hoping it does.
Just in the front.
Torque converter's going on. Now, this should be interesting. I don't remember the last time this thing's been changed, and it was a race bike, so. Ooh. That is.
It's a little metallic.
There's not much in there. Oh.
That's pretty metallic.
Okay. So we just did a quick little tighten up on our side case and an oil change.
Yeah.
As you saw, I did.
The glittery oil.
Yeah, so this motor was the turbo motor, but it has sick parts on it. So we basically just ran it like...
You definitely wasn't happy when we were running it with the turbo.
And that was the break-in oil change too, so it's kind of overdue.
Yeah, so hopefully we're not like spinning bearings or anything.
But let's just cross our fingers, say a little prayer, and hopefully this thing will not blow oil everywhere and actually run right.
Yep.
Man, and look, it's starting to get a nice little smog mark where the pipe is. I'd check to make sure the fuel's open.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. That might run all right now, dude. It sounds like he is getting up there. That's not a good sign. Dude, that thing rips. So the consensus is this motor is an absolute basket case. It probably actually needs a rebuild. We wanted this motor to work because it has sick parts. The thing is though, we have a Tillotson 225 on the Rascal here, and we just know this thing absolutely rips. I mean, it's stroked out. It's got, you know, it's probably making as much power as this motor.
That was like
honestly.
That's supposed to be like 17, 18. Rascal motor it is, the 225.
Yeah, 225 Tilly.
We'll have to fix this guy up.
It'll be a ripper, and it'll be reliable.
Oh yeah, I got it.
All right, so we put our 225 on there, and Jason started running it and had the same issue.
Yeah, same exact issue. Wait. If this is zip tied too tight, I'm
that's
so
me
mad.
being an idiot. Guaranteed.
Dude.
Yay!
Alright, so Daniel's the culprit.
I am the culprit. I am guilty.
Alright, well, at least we know it's fixed. Also, we're not mad that we took off the turbo motor. We think that thing's actually gonna run fine, but since it's leaking, this thing's gonna be way more reliable for, you know, driving for long distances out at the track.
Yeah.
So, you know, not a bad thing that we changed it out, but cool. Yeah. It runs as it should. Okay. My pants were burning. Yeah, no, it runs as it should. I mean, I'm happy with it. It's definitely gonna be reliable. I mean, you can tell it's not as powerful as, you know, the fully built flat slide one, but I'm not worried about it breaking and shooting, you know, 90% of the oil out of the side cover.